Aliens called for help. They didn't expect humans to arrive. The stars shone cold and distant over the Vela Rim system. The planets there were mostly small and weak, orbiting a faint yellow sun. The Alari, a peaceful alien race, lived quietly on one of the larger planets. They were tall, with pale blue skin and thin bodies. Their cities were made of crystal towers that reflected the light of their sun. For thousands of years they had built, studied, and explored space, but they were not fighters. They had never learned war because they never thought it would be needed. One evening, the Alari Council gathered in the largest crystal hall. It was lit with soft white light that seemed to float in the air. Elder Sella spoke first. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were worried. The swarm comes closer. We cannot wait any longer. The swarm was a strange and terrible enemy. It was made of machines that moved without thinking. It ate planets, swallowed cities, and destroyed entire worlds without mercy. Other alien civilizations had fought it before, but few had survived. The Alari had tried to hide, hoping the swarm would pass them by, but the swarm had already found their system. "We must call for help," another elder said. His name was Lauren. "Our defenses will not hold. If we try to fight alone, we will die." The council agreed. They worked for hours, using all the communication technology they had. They sent out a signal in every direction. The signal was strong, loud, and clear. It contained all the information about the swarm and the Alari's situation. It was a simple message: "Please help us." For days, the signal traveled through space. The Alari waited anxiously. They hoped someone would answer, but no one did. Most advanced civilizations ignored the message. Some saw the Alari as weak and not worth saving. Others believed the system was already lost. Far away, on a small blue planet called Earth, the signal arrived without warning. It reached a human deep space monitoring station. The station was quiet except for the soft hum of computers. Ethan Brooks, a young analyst, was studying random signals from deep space. He noticed something strange. The pattern of the signal was not random. It repeated in ways that no natural signal could. He frowned and tapped his fingers on the desk. He called over his colleague Claire Monroe, a scientist who studied alien languages and signals. "Look at this," he said. "It's not noise. Someone is sending a message." Claire leaned over, her brown hair falling in front of her face. She squinted at the screen. "This is structured. It's almost like someone is asking for help." Ethan nodded. "But who, and why did it come here?" They took the signal to Commander Lucas Grant, a seasoned officer with many years in space operations. He listened carefully as Ethan and Claire explained. Lucas rubbed his chin thoughtfully. "It could be a trap," he said. "We cannot be sure this is real." "It's not just a trap," Claire said firmly. "The pattern is too complex. It contains coordinates and technical data. Someone is in trouble." Lucas looked at them for a long time. He knew sending a fleet could be dangerous. Humans had some space technology, but they were not the strongest species. They had never fought in space against a machine swarm. Yet he also knew humans could not ignore a call for help. It was part of who they were. They did not turn away from someone in danger, even if it was far away and unknown. After long discussions, the Earth Space Command decided to send a small task force. The mission was simple: observe and help if possible. They were not expected to fight a major war. The crew was small but skilled. The ships were fast and strong enough to travel through deep space. Ethan, Claire, and Lucas were part of the team. They also selected a group of pilots and engineers who were trained for emergencies. Among them were Ryan Hall, a young but brave pilot, and Megan Carter, an engineer who could fix almost anything. The humans prepared quickly. They studied the Alari system from a distance, learning what they could about the planets, the moons, and the swarm that was approaching. None of the data suggested humans could win a fight, but Lucas reminded the team, "We do not need to be the strongest. We only need to survive and help them survive." After months of preparation, the ships were ready. The crew gathered in the command room of the flagship, the Horizon. Ethan felt a nervous excitement. He was not a soldier, but he had never felt more alive. Claire checked the instruments again and again. Lucas stood tall, confident, but serious. Ryan and Megan exchanged glances, ready for whatever awaited them. The countdown began. The engines roared, and in a flash, the Horizon and its accompanying ships jumped into deep space. The stars blurred into lines of light as they traveled faster than any human had before. Every person on board felt the weight of what they were doing. They were going into the unknown to help a species they had never met, against an enemy they had never faced. Meanwhile, back in the Vela Rim system, the Alari noticed something in space. It was not the swarm this time. It was a small group of ships moving fast, heading directly toward them. Elder Sella looked at the viewing screen. "What are those?" she asked. Her voice trembled slightly. One of her scientists, a young Alari named Vera, scanned the ships. "They are not from our system," she said. "Their technology is strange, rough, but powerful. They are coming here." The council was confused. No one had ever come to their aid before. Most alien races had ignored the Alari completely. They did not understand why these strange beings would risk themselves for the Alari. When the human ships entered the system, the Alari were cautious. They had never seen humans, only imagined what might come. Their scanning machines showed movement, weapons, and shields. The humans sent a message first, simple and direct. "We are here to help. Do not fear us." Sella and the council were shocked. No one had ever offered help so quickly. Some of them feared it was a trick, that the humans were spies or scouts for the swarm. Yet something in the tone of the message seemed honest. Ethan Brooks stepped forward from the human side and activated the communication system. "We received your signal," he said. "We are here to see if we can help. We will not leave until you are safe." The Alari were stunned. The words were simple, but the meaning was enormous. After centuries of loneliness and fear, someone had finally come. The first meeting was tense. Humans and Alari faced each other through virtual communication screens. The Alari were polite and careful. "Why do you come?" one elder asked. "Our people are weak. Most civilizations ignore us." Lucas Grant replied calmly. "We do not leave someone in danger. Your people called and we answered. That is enough reason." The Alari whispered among themselves. They could not understand fully why humans would risk themselves. Their world had never seen courage like this. They had studied war, defense, and survival, but always from a distance. These humans were different. Claire Monroe studied the Alari cities from orbit. She saw broken towers, empty streets, and evidence of swarm attacks. The humans could see the devastation up close. Ryan and his team flew reconnaissance drones over the planets, mapping damaged areas. Megan worked to improve communication lines, making it easier for the Alari and humans to coordinate. Days passed. The humans and Alari learned to communicate and trust each other. Ethan spent hours helping the Alari understand human thinking, while the Alari explained the swarm's behavior and history. The humans realized that other alien races had ignored warning signs that the swarm was advancing. They also saw how brave, clever, and creative humans could be when facing danger. One night, while the Alari slept in their crystal halls, a human pilot, Ryan Hall, spoke quietly to Ethan. "I never thought I would see aliens like this. They are beautiful but so fragile." Ethan nodded. "We are fragile too. Maybe that is why we survive. We keep trying no matter how weak we seem." Far away, the swarm moved closer. Its black machines glimmered under distant starlight. It had never encountered humans before, and it did not understand their ways. The Alari did not know if the humans could survive the coming battle, but already hope had begun to bloom. The humans were ready to act, not because they were the strongest, but because they refused to turn away. The Alari watched with growing wonder, realizing that their lives had changed forever. Help had come. Help they did not expect from a species that no one believed would answer. And so, the Horizon and its crew waited, engines humming, hearts ready for the unknown. They were the first humans in the Vela Rim system, and perhaps the first humans in the galaxy to show the universe a simple truth. Help does not wait for permission. It only waits for those who are brave enough to offer it. The stars stretched endlessly before them. The human ships moved steadily toward the heart of the Alari system. They did not know what awaited them, but they did not fear. In that moment, courage and hope traveled faster than light. The Alari watched silently, barely daring to hope. They had sent a call into the void, and finally, someone had answered. The human ships moved slowly through the Vela Rim system, careful not to collide with broken moons or drifting debris. The stars shone faintly, and the Alari planets looked small and fragile from orbit. Ethan Brooks and Claire Monroe watched from the bridge of the Horizon, scanning for any signs of danger. The Alari had warned them that the swarm was approaching fast. "Their defenses are almost gone," Claire said quietly. "We need to be careful. If the swarm finds them before we do, it could be over in minutes." Lucas Grant nodded. "We will move and close, but we do not panic. Stay ready and remember, we are here to help." Ryan Hall, the young pilot, checked the status of his fighter drones. "All drones ready, Commander. I can scout ahead if needed." Megan Carter, the engineer, tapped on her console. "Our shields are holding. If anything hits us, we can absorb some damage. But these systems are not perfect. We will need to rely on quick thinking." As the Horizon and its fleet approached the largest Alari city, the aliens watched in silence. They had never seen humans before. The ships were not smooth or elegant like their own designs. The humans' machines were blocky, functional, and fast. The Alari could not understand why anyone would build like that. Yet, the humans moved with confidence. They were not afraid. The Alari Council activated their translation systems to speak with the humans. Elder Sella's voice echoed through the bridge. "We did not expect anyone to arrive. Your technology is strange. Why do you come?" Lucas Grant stepped forward. "We saw your call for help. We came because you asked for it. We will not leave until you are safe." Vera, the young Alari scientist, whispered to Sella. "They do not sound afraid. They do not look at us as prey or tools. They speak like friends." The Alari were cautious, but they allowed the humans to move closer. The humans began scanning the planet, looking for safe landing zones and areas that needed immediate help. Ethan studied the readings from orbit. "Most of the cities are damaged," he said. "Some towers have fallen completely. We need to assess the population." The Alari were surprised that humans did not immediately retreat when they saw the destruction. Most alien species would have stopped at this point, too afraid to enter a system already torn by the swarm. But the humans stayed. They moved closer to help. Sella spoke again. "The swarm is near. You should leave. You cannot fight it. No species has ever survived it." Lucas shook his head. "We are not here to run. We are here to help. If your people survive, we survive." The humans deployed their first teams to the surface. Ryan Hall piloted a small ship, carefully landing near a partially destroyed city. Megan Carter followed with supplies and repair tools. The Alari watched nervously as the humans moved among the ruins, their movements precise but bold. Ethan contacted the Alari through a portable communication device. "We want to understand what happened here." "Can you tell us where the swarm attacked first?" Vera stepped forward. "The swarm came from the outer moons. It destroyed our satellites first, then moved to the cities. Our people tried to hide, but many were lost." Claire Monroe studied the patterns of destruction. "This swarm is predictable," she said. "Other species underestimated it, but we can see its flaws. It always attacks in the same way without adjusting for new threats. We can use this." The Alari were shocked. No other alien visitors had studied the swarm in this way. Most would have been paralyzed by fear or retreated. Humans, however, were already thinking about how to fight it, even though they were outnumbered. While humans moved among the ruins, the swarm arrived. The first wave appeared as black shapes in space, moving like a river of machines. They were enormous and endless. The Alari gasped at the sight. This was the swarm that had destroyed so many worlds. They had expected it to arrive, but they never imagined humans would face it so openly. Lucas Grant ordered his fleet into formation. "Do not panic. Hold position and protect the city. We cannot let the swarm destroy them before we try." The swarm struck with a sudden force. Some Alari towers were destroyed instantly, and debris flew into the air. The humans responded immediately. Fighter drones intercepted smaller swarm units. Larger human ships targeted the swarm with precision fire. The Alari could not believe what they saw. Humans were fighting while outnumbered. They accepted damage, yet continued their attacks. One human ship moved directly into the path of a swarm unit, drawing it away from an Alari residential area. The swarm hit the human ship, but it survived thanks to clever design and shields. Vera whispered to Sella, "They fight like nothing we have seen. They do not fear death in the same way we do." Ethan monitored the battle from the horizon. "The swarm does not understand sacrifice," he said. "We can use that. If we bait it, we can destroy more units than we can fire at directly." Claire nodded. "We can lead the swarm into traps. Our ships can survive where they would crush others. We need to show them we will not stop." The battle continued for hours. Human ships moved with daring maneuvers, leading swarm units into ambushes. Alari civilians and engineers helped repair damaged structures and ships. Slowly, the tide began to turn. The humans had no superior technology, but they had courage, creativity, and teamwork. The Alari were stunned. Their people had studied war for centuries, but they had never seen bravery like this. They had never seen someone willing to risk everything to protect strangers. As the first wave of the swarm fell back, the Alari dared to hope. Sella addressed the council. "We may survive. These humans, they are unlike anyone we have ever known. They fight not for power or glory, but for life itself." Ethan, watching the city from orbit, spoke softly to Lucas. "We are lucky they called for help. Otherwise, we would not even know about them." Lucas nodded. "We are lucky they sent the signal. Now we need to keep moving. The swarm will return, and next time it will be stronger." The Alari began to assist the humans more openly. They shared knowledge about the swarm's patterns and weaknesses. The humans taught them basic defense tactics, simple strategies to survive. The Alari learned quickly. They had always been intelligent, but fear had frozen them. The humans unlocked their courage. In the following days, small victories continued. A swarm unit that had been heading toward a civilian area was destroyed by a human trap. Another group of swarm drones was lured into a field of explosives created by humans and Alari together. Each success gave the Alari more hope. Yet the humans knew the real battle was not over. The swarm was relentless and could return in greater numbers. Lucas spoke to his crew in private. "This was only the first wave. We have shown them we are here, but we are not safe yet. The Alari may survive today, but tomorrow is another story." Ethan studied the Alari cities from orbit, noticing damaged bridges and burned streets. He spoke to Claire. "They are fragile, but they can fight. If we teach them well, they might even survive without us someday." Claire smiled. "And maybe the galaxy will learn something from humans too. We are not perfect, but we never give up. That is our strength." The Alari, seeing humans fight, began to rebuild their hope. Children who had hidden for days came out to watch the humans move through the streets, repairing what they could. Adults who had once been too afraid to act now learned to defend and rebuild. The swarm retreated after hours of fighting, leaving the system quiet but damaged. The humans gathered to assess their losses. A few ships were damaged, but none were destroyed completely. The humans had survived, and the Alari were alive. Sella addressed the humans through a communication link. "We did not expect this. We thought you would fail or die." "You are extraordinary," Lucas replied. "We are not extraordinary. We just refuse to leave people in danger. We do what we can." Vera looked at the humans from her observation platform. "They are not the strongest, they are not the smartest, but they are different. They fight for others, not for themselves. That is something we have never seen." As night fell over the Vila Rim system, the stars shining coldly above, the humans prepared for the next wave. They knew it would come. They knew the swarm would return stronger, faster, and more dangerous. Yet they did not fear. They had learned the system, the Alari had learned courage, and together they had seen that even the smallest hope could change everything. And so the human fleet stayed in orbit, engines ready, hearts steady. The Alari watched, silently learning that help can come from the most unexpected places, and that even the weakest cry for help can be answered by the bravest of souls. The days after the first swarm attack were tense, but filled with action. The humans worked tirelessly with the Alari, repairing cities, analyzing the swarm, and planning their next moves. Ethan Brooks moved constantly between the horizon and the Alari command centers, collecting data and sharing ideas. Claire Monroe studied the swarm's patterns, her mind racing with possibilities. "The swarm always attacks the same way," Claire explained to Lucas Grant. "It relies on numbers, not strategy. It cannot understand sacrifice. It will only follow the obvious path." Lucas nodded. "Then we use that. We cannot beat them with sheer force. We need clever tactics, traps, and timing." The Alari observed every human movement, trying to learn from them. They had always avoided fighting, but humans acted as if danger was part of life and fear could be managed. The humans were not the strongest species, yet they moved with confidence. Every pilot, every crew member seemed ready to face the impossible. Ethan spent hours teaching the Alari simple defense strategies. "You do not need to fight the swarm like warriors," he said. "You need to think ahead. Set traps, lure them, and use your environment. The swarm cannot adapt quickly. We can use that." Vera watched, fascinated. "Humans are strange. They are fragile like us, but they fight differently. They accept danger instead of avoiding it." The Alari began practicing small drills. They moved supplies quickly, helped rebuild defensive positions, and learned to repair damaged ships. Humans guided them patiently, showing them that even small efforts could make a big difference. Then the swarm returned. It was larger than before, its dark shapes filling the space around the Alari cities. Alarms rang throughout the system. The humans took immediate positions. Ryan Hall led his fighter squadron, flying tight formations around vulnerable areas. Megan Carter prepared repair drones to move quickly to any damaged ships. The horizon moved into a position where it could cover most of the cities. Lucas spoke to his crew calmly. "This will be dangerous. Some of you may not come back. But we have trained, we have planned, and we have the Alari with us. Fight smart, stay together, and remember why we are here." The swarm attacked suddenly, striking at a partially repaired city. Human fighter drones intercepted the first wave, drawing the swarm units into the traps the humans had prepared. Explosions rocked space as the swarm's machines were destroyed, but more kept coming. Ethan called out on the communications system. "They are following the bait. The swarm cannot understand the risk. Keep them moving into the traps." The Alari gasped as human ships deliberately drew swarm units toward dangerous zones. One human ship flew directly between two massive swarm machines, taking hits to guide them into a magnetic trap set on a broken planet. The machines collided with the trap and were destroyed instantly. Vera whispered to Sella, "They fight differently. They risk themselves to protect others. We have never seen this." Human pilots took heavy damage, but they continued. They did not retreat, even when outnumbered. Lucas Grant personally led a maneuver to shield an Alari city from a swarm strike, guiding human ships between the enemy and the city. The Alari had never imagined such courage. Claire monitored the swarm's core patterns. She realized something important. The swarm cannot think emotionally. It cannot understand loss, grief, or loyalty. It only reacts. If we exploit that, we can control it. Ethan smiled. Then we make it chase what it cannot resist. We make it follow our plan, not its instincts. Human and Alari crews worked together, setting traps and channels for the swarm. The Alari learned quickly, moving supplies, repairing barriers, and operating basic defense equipment. They could not fight alone, but they could support humans effectively. Every small success boosted their confidence. The battle lasted for hours. Swarm units fell into traps, collided with each other, or were destroyed by careful fire from human ships. The Alari were amazed. They had expected humans to fall first, but humans adapted, learned, and led the fight. Ethan observed the battlefield from orbit. They think they are unbeatable because they have numbers, but we are smarter. They cannot understand sacrifice. That is our advantage. Lucas nodded, and we will use it. Every time we lose a ship, we use it to teach the swarm a lesson. We make it regret attacking us. The Alari began to trust the humans completely. Children watched from safe shelters as human ships maneuvered bravely among the swarm, destroying dozens of enemy units. Adults began helping organize supplies, repair structures, and assist in planning defensive maneuvers. The Alari realized that humans had something no other species they knew had: determination. During the fight, one human ship, piloted by Ryan Hall, was hit and damaged heavily. Instead of retreating, Ryan guided the ship directly into the center of a swarm group, drawing multiple units toward a planetary trap the humans had prepared. The ship was destroyed, but dozens of swarm units were eliminated in the process. Vera cried softly as she watched. They sacrificed themselves for us. Ethan and Claire coordinated closely. They observed how the swarm adapted slightly to human tactics, but humans quickly adjusted. They used unpredictable maneuvers, tricking the swarm into overextending. Each loss taught the humans something new. Each small victory gave the Alari hope. By the end of the battle, the humans had significantly weakened the swarm. Its advance had been slowed for the first time in centuries. The Alari could not believe their eyes. A species so small and fragile had changed the course of a war they thought was hopeless. Sela addressed the humans. "We cannot understand fully why you came or why you fight so boldly, but we are grateful. Our people have hope again." Lucas replied, "Hope is not enough. We fight because it is the right thing. We fight because no one should be left alone when danger comes." Ethan observed the Alari. They are learning. Soon, they will be able to do more on their own. We just need to show them the way. Claire spoke quietly to Ethan. Humans fight differently because we see value in life beyond numbers. We act for others, not for ourselves. The swarm cannot understand that, and that is why we survive. Over the next few days, humans continued to train and assist the Alari. They repaired defensive stations, rebuilt communication lines, and set up more traps. The Alari learned basic piloting, weapon operation, and repair techniques. They could not fight like humans, but they could now support and survive in ways they never imagined. The Alari began to change. They became braver, more willing to act, and more confident. They had watched humans sacrifice, adapt, and lead, and it inspired them to do the same. Even elders who had never left the council chambers began moving supplies, coordinating repairs, and assisting the young. Ethan watched from orbit as Alari engineers worked alongside human crews. They are learning quickly. Soon they will be able to help us fight the swarm, not just follow our orders. Lucas looked at the Alari population and nodded. And that is how civilizations survive: by learning, by helping each other, and by facing fear together. The humans knew the next attack would be harder. The swarm had retreated this time, but only to regroup. They had learned from humans' actions and would return stronger and faster. Yet the humans were ready. They had taught the Alari courage, strategy, and teamwork. The Alari had shown humans loyalty, skill, and determination. Together, they were stronger than the sum of their parts. As night fell over the Vila Rim system, the Horizon and its fleet moved in careful patrols around the Alari cities. Human ships remained in orbit, engines ready, weapons primed. Alari citizens watched from their homes and towers, learning to trust, to fight, and to hope. Claire spoke softly to Ethan. "We may not be the strongest species in the galaxy, but we are capable of things others cannot do. We survive not because of power, but because of courage and will." Ethan smiled. "And now we are teaching the Alari the same. Together, we may just survive the swarm. Maybe even thrive." Vera looked at the humans from her observation platform. They are not gods, they are not invincible, but they have something greater than that. They care and they act. That is something no machine can ever understand. Lucas addressed his crew one last time that day. "Remember, we are not here for glory. We are here because it is right. We fight for life, for hope, and for those who cannot fight alone. That is what makes humans human." And so the humans continued their work, fighting, teaching, and protecting. The Alari began to believe they could survive. The swarm had never met such resistance, and it would learn, as the Alari had, that humans did not fight for themselves alone. They fought for everyone. The stars above the Vila Rim system were silent witnesses to this strange alliance. Humans and Alari, so different, yet so alike in courage, prepared for the next wave. The universe had never seen a species like humans, and the swarm was about to learn a lesson it would never forget. The days after the humans' first victories were tense. The swarm had retreated, but it was only a matter of time before it returned. Human ships patrolled the Vila Rim system, keeping a careful watch over the Alari cities. The Alari worked alongside the humans, learning, repairing, and preparing. Hope was growing in their hearts, but fear remained. Ethan Brooks studied the swarm's movements from the horizon. "They are regrouping," he said quietly to Claire Monroe. "The next wave will be faster, stronger, and smarter. We need to be ready." Claire nodded. "We have taught the Alari as much as we can in this time. Now we prepare for the final test." The Alari Council gathered in the largest crystal hall. Elder Sella spoke, her voice steady but serious. "Humans have shown us what courage means. They have fought for us when no one else would. We owe them our trust and our support." Vera added, "We are learning quickly. We have seen how to fight, how to repair, and how to survive. But the swarm will not be so easy next time. We must be brave." Lucas Grant called a meeting with his senior crew. "The swarm is gathering forces," he said. "We cannot predict the size of the next attack, but we know it will be dangerous. Our goal is simple: protect the Alari and strike at the swarm's core if possible." Ryan Hall, the young pilot, leaned forward. "We have traps ready, we have the Alari trained, and our drones are fully operational. We can hold them off for a time, but we need a plan to end this. We cannot just wait." Megan Carter spoke calmly. "We have learned their patterns. If we can get close to the swarm core, we might be able to destroy it and stop them completely." Lucas nodded. "Then that is what we will do. Some of us will go directly into the heart of the swarm. It will be dangerous, maybe deadly, but we have no choice if we want to save this system." The humans explained the plan to the Alari. The aliens were nervous, but they agreed to help. They would repair ships, set traps, and provide support. They trusted the humans now, because humans had risked everything for them before. The next day, the swarm returned. It came in greater numbers than before, stretching across the space around the Alari cities. Alarms rang, lights flashed, and the sky seemed to darken as the machines moved. The Alari held their breath, but humans remained calm. Lucas gave orders. "Hold position, protect the cities, and wait for our signal. Remember, we fight for life, not glory." Ethan monitored the swarm. They are attacking in the same way as before, but this time they are faster. They have learned slightly from the last fight. We need to stay one step ahead. The battle began suddenly. The swarm struck with precision, targeting the Alari cities first. Human ships moved in tight formations to protect the civilians. Ryan Hall led his fighter squadron, drawing swarm units into traps humans and Alari had set together. Explosions shook the orbit as machines collided with barriers, mines, and magnetic traps. Claire Monroe watched the data. "They cannot adapt fast enough," she said. "Keep them moving. Every maneuver counts. They underestimate human strategy." The Alari were amazed at the humans' courage. They had seen humans risk themselves before, but now they watched humans face overwhelming numbers without hesitation. Children and adults alike hid behind repaired buildings, observing, learning, and hoping. Ethan spoke to Lucas. "We cannot hold them forever. We need to strike the swarm core directly. If we do not, they will return and destroy everything again." Lucas nodded. "Then we split our forces. Most stay to protect the cities. A small team goes in. We know the risk and we accept it." Ryan and Megan volunteered immediately. Ethan and Claire joined them. The team prepared for the most dangerous part of the battle. They would jump into the heart of the swarm, using fast ships to get close enough to destroy the core. The humans knew some of them might not return, but they did not hesitate. Courage was not something they thought about. They acted because it was right. As the team moved forward, the Alari provided support. Repair drones moved quickly. Warning systems guided human ships through debris fields, and small Alari ships helped with traps along the path. The humans led the attack, but the Alari's assistance was invaluable. The heart of the swarm was terrifying. Massive machines moved in a dense formation, black and endless. Energy beams flashed across space, destroying debris and smaller ships instantly. The humans moved through it carefully, weaving between fire and destruction. Claire calculated the trajectory of the core. "We can overload it," she said. "If we hit the right spot, we can destroy the control network and end this swarm for good." Ethan added, "But we have only one chance. If we fail, the swarm will crush the system." The humans launched their attack. Ryan piloted his ship through the densest part of the swarm, dodging energy blasts and debris. Megan directed repair drones to patch minor damage in real time. Ethan guided the ships from the horizon, coordinating the timing of each strike. Claire prepared the final overload sequence. The swarm attacked aggressively. Machines collided with human ships. Some were destroyed, but the humans did not falter. They moved with precision and courage, accepting risk after risk to reach the core. Vera watched from her observation platform. "They do not fear death," she whispered. "They fight for others, not themselves. That is why they survive." Finally, the human team reached the swarm core. It was enormous, black, and alive with mechanical energy. Claire activated the overload sequence. Sparks flew, and energy surged through the swarm's control network. The machines shuddered, then began to collapse. Ethan cheered. "We did it! The core is destabilizing." The swarm units, now without guidance, began attacking each other and collapsing across space. The humans barely escaped the shockwave, their ships battered but functional. They looked around in disbelief. The swarm was gone. The system was safe. The Alari cheered. They had never imagined such a victory. Their cities were still damaged, but their people were alive. They could rebuild. Hope had returned fully to their hearts. Sela addressed the humans through communication. "We cannot thank you enough. You have saved our people, our homes, and our lives. We thought we were doomed. You proved us wrong." Lucas replied simply, "We did what anyone should do. We fight for those who cannot fight alone." Ethan spoke to the Alari. "You fought alongside us. Your courage helped. You have learned quickly, and now you can protect your world. This victory is yours as much as ours." Vera looked at the humans with awe. "You are not the strongest, not the smartest. But you are extraordinary. You fight for life, for hope, for others. No machine can ever understand that." The Alari began repairing their cities with the humans' help. Bridges, towers, and streets were restored slowly. Children watched, learning the skills humans had taught them. Adults rebuilt and trained. The Alari had been weak and fearful, but now they had courage and knowledge. They had hope. Ethan and Claire walked through the city, observing repairs and teaching the Alari small survival techniques. They have learned a lot, Ethan said quietly. They may never be perfect warriors, but they know how to survive and protect their people. Lucas addressed the human crew. We came here to help, and we did. But remember, this is just one system. The galaxy is vast, and there are others who may need help. Today we saved the Alari, but tomorrow someone else may call for us. The Alari watched the stars silently. For centuries they had felt alone in the universe. Now humans had shown them that help could come, even from distant, unexpected places. Hope had been restored, courage had been learned, and the galaxy had taken notice. And somewhere far away, other alien civilizations began to talk. News of humans standing against the swarm spread. They had expected humans to fail, to die, or to retreat. Instead, humans had risked everything, fought courageously, and saved an entire species. The galaxy was surprised, and perhaps it would never underestimate humans again. As night fell over the Vila Rim system, human ships remained in orbit, engines humming softly. The Alari cities glimmered faintly below, safe for now. Humans and Alari had learned from each other. Humans had shown bravery, strategy, and compassion. The Alari had learned courage, teamwork, and hope. Together, they had changed the course of history. Lucas stood on the bridge of the horizon, looking out at the stars. "We are not heroes," he said quietly. "We are humans. We do what we must, even when it is dangerous. That is enough." Ethan looked at the horizon, thinking of what was to come. The swarm may be gone here, but the galaxy is full of unknowns. Someone else may call for help. We will answer. We always answer. The Alari looked up at the stars with wonder, realizing their lives had changed forever. Humans were not the strongest, not the smartest, but they had something no other species did: courage, compassion, and the will to fight for others. And that was enough to change the fate of worlds. The stars above the Vila Rim system were quiet now, but the galaxy had begun to remember a new truth. When humans answer a call for help, they do so fully, without hesitation and without fear. And the universe would never forget it. The battle was over, and the Vila Rim system was quiet for the first time in weeks. Human ships hovered in orbit, engines running softly, scanning for any sign of danger. The Alari cities were damaged but still standing, their people safe. The Alari had never imagined such a victory, and they struggled to comprehend what had happened. Ethan Brooks moved among the Alari people, helping with repairs and giving advice. He watched as children cleaned debris from streets and helped carry supplies. Adults worked to rebuild homes and towers. The humans had taught them more than just survival skills. They had shown them courage and teamwork. Vera approached Ethan, her eyes wide with wonder. "We thought we would die. We thought the swarm would destroy everything. And then you came, you fought for us, and now we live. We do not know how to thank you." Ethan smiled gently. "You do not need to thank us. We fought because it was right. We always help when we can." Claire Monroe checked the systems on the horizon and other human ships. "We lost some ships," she said quietly. "Some of our crew will not return home, but we saved the Alari. That is what matters." Lucas Grant stood on the observation deck, looking out at the rebuilt city below. "We did what we came to do. The swarm is gone and the Alari are safe. But this is just one victory. There are others in the galaxy who may need help someday. We are humans. That is what we do." The Alari Council gathered to meet the humans formally. Elder Sella spoke first, her voice steady. "We have seen courage beyond anything we imagined. Your people risked everything for us. You fought with bravery, wisdom, and care. The galaxy must remember this." Another council member added, "We have learned from you. We have seen how to protect ourselves, how to act with courage, and how to fight when necessary." Humans have changed our lives forever." The Alari people began celebrating quietly. It was not a loud celebration, but a careful, meaningful one. They repaired homes, rebuilt towers, and honored the humans who had saved them. Even those who had been too afraid to act during the swarm attack now worked with confidence. Hope had replaced fear in every heart. Ethan and Claire walked through one of the rebuilt streets. "They have learned quickly," Ethan said. "Soon they will be able to defend themselves without us. We just needed to show them the way," Claire nodded. "And they have shown us too. Humans fight differently than anyone else. We do not fight for power or glory, we fight for life. That is our greatest strength." Ryan Hall and Megan Carter walked beside them, tired but satisfied. "I cannot believe how many machines we destroyed," Ryan said. "And we did it while protecting people we just met. It feels different, important." Megan smiled. "This is what makes humans human. We do not leave others behind. We act even when it is dangerous. That is why we survived and why the Alari survived." As the Horizon prepared to leave orbit, Lucas gathered the crew. "We saved this system," he said. "We fought, we taught, and we inspired. But there is more to do. The galaxy is large, and there are others who may call for help. Humans will answer. That is what we are." The Alari Council and citizens came to see the humans depart. Elder Sella spoke through the communication system. "You will always have friends here. Your courage has changed our world. We will remember you forever. If the galaxy ever doubts humans, remember this day." Vera stepped forward. "You are not the strongest, not the fastest, not the smartest, but you are brave, you care, and you act. The universe must remember that humans are different." Lucas nodded. "We do not seek fame or rewards. We only act because it is right. That is enough." The human fleet activated its jump engines. The stars blurred as they left the Vela Rim system, heading back to Earth. The Alari watched silently, awe and gratitude in their eyes. For the first time in generations, they felt safe, confident, and inspired. They had been weak and fearful, but now they had hope and courage. Ethan looked back at the planets below. "We made a difference," he said softly. "We showed them that help can come from far away and that courage matters more than strength." Claire added, "And we also learned something. Humans fight not for themselves alone, but for everyone. That is a lesson no machine, no enemy, and no one in the galaxy can forget." As the Horizon and its fleet jumped into deep space, news began spreading quietly among other alien civilizations. They had seen the Alari system survive, watched from afar as humans fought the swarm, and learned that humans did not act like any other species they knew. Humans risked their lives to protect strangers. Humans inspired hope, courage, and survival in others. The galaxy began to take notice. Far from the Vela Rim system, other worlds had received the signals of the swarm and the humans' actions. Some alien civilizations, who had ignored the Alari's call before, now realized they had underestimated humans. Whispers spread across star systems. Humans do not abandon those in need. Humans act when no one else will. Humans fight for life, even when the odds are against them. On the horizon, Lucas addressed his crew one last time before returning to Earth. "We are not heroes. We are humans. We do what is right even when it is dangerous. We act for others because that is who we are. The galaxy may not understand us yet, but one day it will. And when it does, the universe will be a better place." Ethan looked out at the stars. "We answered a call for help, far from home. We showed the Alari that they are not alone, and we proved something about ourselves too. We survive not because we are the strongest, but because we care, we act, and we never give up." Claire added, "And that is why humans are different. We do not fight for power or glory. We fight because it is the right thing to do. That is enough to change the course of worlds." As the fleet jumped into faster-than-light travel, the Alari watched them disappear. Children waved from rebuilt towers. Adults nodded with respect and gratitude. The Alari had survived, and they had learned lessons that would last generations. courage, teamwork, sacrifice, and the will to protect others. Ethan and Claire walked the corridors of the horizon, quietly reflecting. "We did not just save a species," Ethan said. "We inspired them. We showed them courage can exist in anyone, even the weakest. That is what humans do." Ryan spoke softly, "and the galaxy is watching. One day someone else will call and we will answer again. That is who we are." Megan added, "We leave behind hope, knowledge, and courage. The Alari will rebuild, stronger than before. The galaxy may have underestimated humans, but not anymore." Lucas looked at the stars, a faint smile on his face. "We came here for one species. We left a lesson for the galaxy. Humans may not be perfect, but we fight for what matters. We survive because we care, and that will always be enough." As the horizon and its fleet traveled back to Earth, the stars stretched endlessly before them. The Alari planets grew smaller behind them, but the humans' actions would never be forgotten. The galaxy had learned something new. Humans are not the strongest or the smartest, but they act with courage, compassion, and determination. When humans answer a call for help, the universe itself takes notice. The Alari returned to their lives, rebuilding their cities and strengthening their people. They would never forget the humans who came when no one else did. The stories of courage, sacrifice, and hope would be told for generations. The galaxy had changed and humans had left their mark, and somewhere deep in space, another signal awaited, calling for help. Far away from Earth in a distant system, humans would answer again. They always did, because that was who they were. They acted, they fought, and they never abandoned those in need. The universe would remember that forever. And so, the story ended, but not really. It was only the beginning of many adventures, many calls for help, and many chances for humans to show that courage, kindness, and determination could change the fate of worlds. The Vila Rim system was safe, the Alari were alive, and the galaxy had learned to never underestimate humans again.